Alright. Bum bum. Alright, sorry for the delay, sorry for the loud noise. Hassan Al-Badr with you, an atheist, anti-theist, etc, etc. This video is going to be en anglais, okay, in English, and the second video is going to be in Arabic. Alright? So just to let you know, by the way, I'm sweating, it's really hot. To Swedish standards, it's really hot. It's about 20 degrees, 22 degrees, but that's really hot for us. Anyway, of course, here we're going to refute another video of Miss Claire Forestier. The video is titled, let's see, if you want to search it on YouTube. The video is called "The Quran, a very serious book for those who have knowledge. There is no clash." Okay, and the channel is called also "There is no clash." The YouTube channel is also called "There is no clash." Well, yesterday and the day before yesterday, we exposed some of her lies and ignorance by saying the age of Earth, according to the ratio with the ratio to the age of the universe, is 1/3, and that goes according with the Quran, because the Quran created the whole cosmos in 6 days. So 1/3, that means literally 2 days, and that goes according, and that's basically a math error, because if the universe is going to be 20 billion, you do the math and tell me what is the ratio of Earth's age according to the universe. It's not going to be 1/3, etc, etc. And yesterday she said, when God told the earth, come into me willingly or not willingly, willingly or not willingly means matter and antimatter. Yes, willingly or not willingly in the Quran, obviously it means matter and antimatter. It means quarks and anti-quarks. Go figure. So let's hear today what she has to tell us. I mean, another hallucinations, delusional hallucinations we're going to hear today. So go ahead, Miss Claire Forestier.
There's a book that sits on my bookshelf that is unlike any other. It invites people to go out and learn about the world in order to better make sense of what was written in it, and in order to prove its own authenticity beyond a shadow of a doubt. In fact, the book encourages its readers to read, learn, ponder and question things, so much so that the first word revealed from the book was read. But it doesn't stop there. The book goes on to challenge its readers, especially the scientists and scholars among them, with statements such as, we will show them our signs in the universe and in their own selves, until it becomes manifest to them that this is the truth. And these similes we put forward for mankind, but none will understand them except those who have knowledge. The author of this book gives us the total freedom to either believe or disbelieve in what he wrote, but at the same time the author tells us that he also has the freedom to determine our fate after death, with either eternal happiness in paradise or an eternal painful punishment in hell. There is no third option. The following is just one quote from the book's many profound passages, given as a quick and simple example to help you understand what I mean. The author swears that indeed what is written inside this book is very serious and is not a joke, but the amazing part is that the author swears by two phenomena that at the time the book was revealed, 1400 years ago, were completely unknown to man in any way. The quote is as follows: "By the sky which has the bounce, by the earth which has the crack." Indeed, what is written inside the book is very serious, and it's not in jest. Do you know?
Okay, you say here you mention again an obvious lie. You say that these words were not known to the people at that time, 1400 years ago. Well, actually, it was known. The sky that has bound, that means the sky that comes with the rain again and again and again and again annually. Okay, and it's mentioned also. It's mentioned by the early Muslims. You know, the friends of Muhammad even mentioned that. All right. So it's not something that they didn't know. And the earth that has a crack, that's one of the translations. والأرض ذات الصدع, okay, that's one of the translations. You can translate it as a crack. But also the early Islamists, during Muhammad time, they said it means that the sky that brings forth the rain and the earth that brings forth the vegetation. This is the literal meaning of this verse. And now let's hear how you're going to interpretate this verse, because now I'm going to laugh, really. Go ahead, interpret this verse to me. What does it mean?
Know what these two phenomena are? I will tell you. Simply put, when space is stretched out, it bounces, while when the earth is stretched out, it cracks. Although we can't see a bounce in the sky, in 1916, Einstein's game-changing theory of relativity determined that spatial bodies move in the fabric of space in much the same way as a child bounces on a stretchy trampoline. And although we've always intuitively known that rocks are incredibly strong and can't be stretched hard, in 1789, when Iceland's sulfur fissure was opened, and in 1927, when the first crack in the earth was recorded in the Arizona desert, it was confirmed just how fragile and changeable our earth really is. A book from 1962 entitled Notes on Earth Fissures in Southern Arizona by Geraldine Robinson and Dennis Peterson published the information about the cracks in the earth that were first recorded in Arizona. So it was only in 1916 that science learned that the sky, space, has a bounce to it, which is at the heart of Einstein's theory of relativity, and it was only in 1927 that science learned that the earth has cracks. Yet not unsurprisingly, the ancient book that I speak of contains cracks. Yet not unsurprisingly that science learned that the earth...
In 1927, the scientists learned that the earth has cracks? Go ahead, read the Japanese history. Okay? Go ahead, read the Japanese stories and the history of Japan, really. They mentioned the crack before this date, 1927. You should really do your research pretty good, You should be thorough with your research, Miss Claire Forestier. Or I don't know who has done the research to you and handed to you, and you just read like a robot. You read from a monitor. That's another case, But whoever done the research for this program is pretty much sake. Okay, they suck at doing research. I mean, many myths even mention the crack in Earth. Even Greek mythology mentions the crack in Earth. That Earth splits and cracks and etc., etc. It's not something new. And the Greek mythology is before Islam, by the way. So, again, nothing new.
It has cracks. Yet, not unsurprisingly, the ancient book that I speak of contains numerous proofs in the form of scientific facts and natural wonders that were only discovered by scientists centuries later. How is this possible? How could a book revealed so long ago, before the advent of basic modern tools and technologies, contain such accurate information about scientific phenomena? There is only one explanation for such a thing. The author of the book is the creator of the universe. The book was written by God himself. Do you know the book that I'm talking of? It's called the Holy Quran and is such an impressive book that it would forever change the course of the world. The Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad over the course of 23 years in the 6th century. It was a miracle back then and remains a miracle to this day. Though the Prophet Muhammad received the revelation and transmitted it to the people, he did not have any part in writing it. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad was illiterate. He never learned to read or write. What makes the Quran so unique is that it contains wisdom and knowledge that never gets outdated. And for a book from the 6th century, that's pretty exceptional. Not only has the Quran stood the test of time and remained accurate, even with all the modern advancements mankind has been able to accomplish with the help of cutting-edge technologies, the Quran has, in numerous chapters, challenged anyone who doubts its authenticity to come up with something that can stack up against it. Many disbelievers at the time of the Prophet liked to spread the lie that the Quran was written by the Prophet himself instead of God Almighty. This is how the Quran responded to their false claims. Or do they say he, Prophet Muhammad, has forged it, this Quran? Nay, they believe not. Let them then produce a recitation like it if they are truthful. And if you are in doubt as to what we have revealed from time to time to our servant, then produce a chapter like thereunto, and call your witnesses or helpers, if there are any, besides Allah, if your doubts are true. In short, the Quran challenged them just as it has challenged scholars, intellectuals and scientists for the past 1400 years to refute the messages and declarations contained within it. None have yet been able to meet this challenge, and that's for a good reason.
No, actually the challenge has been met by many. But of course, when the judge is one-sided, when the Muslim himself considers himself the judge, he is one-sided. Of course, he's not going to say that the new text is better than my Quran. If there were neutral judges, we are up to the challenge. There are many people who can write better text, better book, better chapter even, than the Quran. But then the case depends also who is the judge. Always you Muslims, they assign themselves as judges, which makes it unneutral competition. Really, a neutral competition should be a neutral judges. Okay, not to the left, not to the right. They should be 100% neutral. But not the Muslim assigns himself as the judge and as the competitor also, and then he decides, no, you have lost. I mean, what's the use of making the competition? I can give you a chapter better than the Quran. But then, also, I want also the judge to be non-Muslim, a neutral judge. Can you provide us with that? No, of course not. And by the way, many people from the early ages, since the Islam was really just started, many people actually challenged the Quran. And many people got convinced by those challenges that it was better than the Quran. And there are many literature books. In literature, there are many books that are better than the Quran. I always ask the Muslim guy, I told him, have you read all the books in the world? Then you confirm your judgment that it is the best book, your Quran? No, of course not. Then how can you build your judgment above ignorance? You don't know all the books, you don't know all the literature in the whole world, and yet you claim that you have the best literature book, which is the Holy Quran. Logic.
The Word of God is foolproof. So join us as we delve into the fascinating pages of the Holy Quran, the miracle that keeps on giving.
Okay, by the way, you said, you mentioned that the space-time got ripples into it. Ripples, okay, goes through space-time, and that means the sky has a bound. Okay, that's actually false. That's purely and simply false. Because if you read the GR, General Relativity, the General Relativity speaks about really 3-dimension space-time, with the 4th dimension, the time. Okay, so X, Y, and Z, okay, X, Y, and Z, not only Y and X, Y, and Z, the 3rd dimension. So what you depicted in your video, that there were ripples, just like water ripples, that's 2-dimension prediction. Or depiction, I'm sorry. That's 2-dimension depiction. The 3-dimension depiction is really hard to show, really. It's even hard to imagine. Because really, literally, consider a ball, and there is the ripples all around it. You know, the ripples, but the ripples are not 2-dimensional ripples. They are 3-dimensional ripples going through all the earth. And you say that because of those ripples that the earth cracks? Nobody says that in physics. Nobody says that because of gravitational ripples, okay, the earth gonna crack. The earth cracks because it's a planet in its early stages. It's getting cold. Okay, it was a hot planet and now it's getting cold. When you get cold, it gets cracked. Okay, because the surface cannot stretch. The surface is hard. So when it stretches, it breaks, simply. That's basic geology, you know. Basic plate tectonics, etc., etc. And going back to the logical question that I proposed to you last time, and I hope any Muslim, any brave Muslim will answer this question. 1916, 16. Albert Einstein gave his GR, General Relativity. Muslims were stupid and dumb and quiet. Didn't say a word. In a couple months, Schwarzschild, he read Einstein papers and he predicted the black holes with his equations, the Schwarzschild equations for black holes. In a couple months, 4 months, 6 months. Muslims didn't say shit. They were quiet and dumb and stupid. Fast forward, 26, 10 years after, 10 years, 26, Muslims were quiet. Didn't say shit. They were dumb and stupid and again didn't understand their God's word in the Quran. 20 years, 36, again Muslims were dumb, stupid and quiet. Didn't say shit. 46, 30 years after the discovery, again the Muslims were quiet, dumb and stupid and didn't understand their God's word. 56, 66, 76, 86, 96, 2006. Muslims were yet again dumb, stupid and quiet and didn't say shit about this discovery. Only when LIGO proved that the gravitational waves are real and true and a scientific fact, then the Muslims had the courage to say, yeah, it is mentioned in our book. So again, dear Muslims, are you really that stupid? Are you really that dumb that you don't understand your God's word and you wait for physics to explain to you your God's words? Really? Aren't you ashamed? Aren't you ashamed that atheists, agnostics, deists, non-believers in your religion study physics and explain the words of your God? And you Muslims, you should understand your words first. First. You should understand it. None others explain it to you. Aren't you ashamed? Do you consider yourself a real Muslims? Just wondering. It's just a logical question in my head. Just wondering. Aren't you ashamed? Literally, aren't you ashamed that you wait for modern physics to explain your God's word in the Holy Quran? If you were really understanding your word, your God's words, say it ahead of time. Say it since Einstein came with a theory. Say it since Schwarzschild came with his black hole theory. Say it since that time. Like, hey, hold on, Mr. Albert. I think we have something mentioned here in our book. I think it's mentioned here. Say it in that time. I'm pretty sure, guys. I'm pretty sure. In the next 20 years, 30 years, maybe 50 years, they might prove that, Mr. Socrates, they might prove that the string theory is true, and then, only then, you're gonna hear also Muslims, some dumb fuck Muslims, they're gonna also come and they say, it's mentioned in the Quran, string theory. You see, it's mentioned, super string theory is mentioned in the Quran. But now, they shut the fuck up, they don't say shit. Now they don't dare to say shit, because it's not proven yet. But when they wait for physics to prove it, then they have the guts. Like, hey, yeah, it's mentioned actually. It's actually mentioned. But we were dumb and stupid. We didn't understand the words of our God. Thank you, modern physics institutes. Thank you, CERN. Thank you, LIGO. Thank you, Planck Institute. Thank you for explaining the words of our God. We were dumb and stupid, actually. We were dumb and stupid. Like, aren't you ashamed? Literally, aren't you ashamed? I don't get it. And you, Miss Claire Forestier, I mean, I think you are just a doll. You know, a doll. You're just like a robot, a doll. And in front of you, there is a monitor, tells you what to say. And you, as a parrot, you just repeat. You just read and repeat. Because if you have really checked your facts before speaking and before reading and just as a parrot repeating, okay, you should have been ashamed of yourself, literally. Literally. You should have been ashamed of yourself because literally what you're telling is false. What you're telling are lies. What you're telling are illusions. Simply put, really. Alright, that's all, folks. By the way, it's kind of hot, man. Alright, that's all, folks. The second video is going to be about Mr. Ayad Al-Khunaybi, about his episode about evolution. It's called خاطبهم كالأطفال. Speak to them like kids. And we're going to expose another logical fallacies and scientific fallacies. So until then, in a couple minutes, I'm going to be back. And we'll hear Mr. Ayad Al-Khunaybi. Until then, see you. Cheers, love, and respect. Cheers.